Hello everyone. Today I can finally share that I finished working on my app. So you can now see the new landing page if you visit the website. And as you can see, I have implemented a couple of things to explain what the application does. This is something I've wanted to do for a while because most of my applications, they have a landing page that is very simple, and unless you are already familiar with Solid or Localfest, maybe you wouldn't know what's the point of using my apps. So I thought it would be nice to make a landing page that actually explains a little bit more for people who are not already familiar with the technology. Actually, I started working on this because I took this course called Radical Design, which is a design course for developers that is focused on landing pages. So it was very useful in my case. And also I have been working on it using PenPot, which is the design tool that I'm using. The first draft I did, it was only to think what information the landing page should have without looking at any of the specific UI or anything. And then I tried a couple of different versions. For example, one idea I explored is to have the landing page be the app itself. Given that you don't need an account to get started, I could have just the application empty and have some information about what the application actually does. In the end though, I decided to go for a more whimsical route with the landing page you can see now, and I started working on this animation and in this UI, which is a lot more fun, and ultimately I liked it more. So if you go to the application and you actually log in or get started, you will notice that it's mostly the same that you have already seen in other videos or that I had in the beta. So the UI has not changed a lot either. Also, something else I explored in PenPot is the UI of the app. So I didn't only look at the landing page, I also used this tool to explore the UI for different states in the applications. This is useful to prototype before going into the code and spending some time there. So yeah, that is one of the things I did. Also, you will notice that there are many images throughout the application, and yes, indeed, they are AI generated. I actually used this tool called Focus with multiple O's, which uses stable diffusion. So actually, I was able to create all these images in my local device without relying on resources in the cloud. So this is something interesting to keep in mind. Also, another thing to mention is that there are some animations in the UI. Unfortunately, I am not super happy with this. I was exploring with animations in Vue, and I created this test library called Vivant, which is something I was using to try to see how to implement these things with Vue. But I was not super happy with it, so this is something I hope to improve in my next application. And actually, something that's coming up that I'm very excited about is Josh's course called Whimsical Animations. I already took his previous course on CSS, and it was really nice. Also, most of his websites, they have a lot of nice animations, and it's always fun to use them, so I'm looking forward to learn a lot more from him. That's mostly it for animations and the UI. Something else I wanted to mention since the new release of the application is that it also have some translations. For now, it only has the languages that I speak. So if you want to add a new language, let me know and we can make it happen. So for the translations, I was simply using a Vue library that is already built with that. And finally, the last thing I want to mention is accessibility. I think it's important to make sure that everyone can use the application, and it's one of the features I highlight in the landing page. If you are not familiar with accessibility or how to make your applications accessible, it can be difficult to know what is the proper thing to do. But there are a couple of resources that I can share with you that I think can be really helpful. The first one is a video called Bingo Bakery that explains how users navigate the website, talking about heading and landmarks. So that one is something I would recommend that you take a look. Also, look at the way area patterns, because this is the way of how websites are implemented using accessible UI. So here there are a lot of patterns that you can see how you would use the application from the keyboard or with a screen reader. And something else I would recommend is to check out this extension called Aria DevTools. It's very useful because basically it transforms your application into the UI that screen readers would use. Obviously, people using a screen reader, they don't see this, but this UI is built using the Aria components. So if you can use your application using this plugin, it's very likely that someone else can use your application with a screen reader. So for example, here if we create a new task, you can see that most things here are working, and you can also edit the description, for example, description, and everything is working. Then when you go back to the normal UI, you can see that everything has been implemented properly. So this is one way, this plugin, to make sure that your application is also accessible. Finally, I wanted to share that I have made a release of the Aerogel framework, which is how Focus is built and how I'm going to build all my applications moving forward. But I still haven't written any documentation. So maybe it will be a bit difficult for you to make your application, but you can definitely start toying with it, because I have already made a full application, so it should be pretty stable. And in this previous video I published, I explained the basic ideas. So if you want to tinker with it, you can already do it like this. So yeah, mostly that's it. I hope you find this interesting, and with this video I will close the Rebuilding Focus with Aerogel video series. In my next videos I will be probably talking about new applications I'm working on, and I will continue exploring how to make applications with solid and local first and more better technologies. Yeah, thank you.